Today's topic is orgasm control, denial, and edging. And instead of telling you about it myself, I've asked one of my dasas to give you a first-hand account. So please enjoy this interview with Max, who has had his pleasure under my control for 6 months.
This is obedient love. My name is Max, and I've been asked to talk a little bit about my journey of retention and edging. You may be wondering how I got here. That's a good question. This started with the knowledge that Goddess V has asked that men retain their sperm for 108 days. My desire to please my goddess led me to this. It started off due 108 days, which is basically 15 and a half weeks, or 3 months and 3 days. But who's counting, right? Exactly. It's something I have done before, and it was rather challenging. I have played with retention several times and failed because of edging. Edging is a double-edged sword. There's great pleasure in it, but it's also walking a tightrope. One false step, and over the edge you go. Originally, the intention was to do 108 days. This got extended by Goddess. She had been tracking my progress through this, and as I was getting near the end, she asked me if I would extend it to 6 months. I'm currently at day 178, with the final goal of making it 6 months of retention. I've been allowed to edge for most of this period of time. Towards the end of the initial 108 days, I've received punishment for my failure to serve another goddess of the company properly. One of my punishments was to actually have my orgasms controlled by her for 30 days. Some days she would allow me to edge, which was once or twice in a week, and the other 4, 5, 6 days a week, I was not allowed to touch myself in any shape, manner, or form. I found that they were both rather interesting in the sense that they were both forms of punishment. There was great desire to edge because of the satisfaction of it. At the same time, leading up to the edge and not being able to go over to the finish line was rather frustrating. I also found that the ideal of not being able to touch myself at all was rather another form of great punishment. The one thing I found when I wasn't allowed to edge or touch myself, that when I was, it felt like a great gift from her, and I was thankful for it. I have to admit, when it first started, it took me a little while for it to sink in. Something that has always been under my control, under my domain, was suddenly out of my control and out of my domain. A deeper sense of surrender and sacrifice washed over me. My will and desires were at best secondary to her will and her desires. The desire to follow her command and not fail was always on my mind. I found myself thinking about her instructions and what she desired for me to experience. I accepted that I would be allowing ownership to her. It wasn't until the first day without control that it really sank in. Losing that sense of ownership deeply humbled me and fostered a sense of submission. It made me more reflective of my failure to serve her. At the same time, I felt a stronger connection to her. When I'm told not to do something, it makes it so much more desirable. Real punishment is to suggest something and then take it away. There is something humbling and grounding from being owned and controlled by her. I found myself enjoying being controlled by her. The more controlling, the more humbling and connected I felt. It became a feedback loop. Part of me thinks it's because of the very intimate nature of her control. What could be more intimate, right? There are psychological aspects to consider as well. Generally, I believe the desire to be controlled stems from a need or desire to feel wanted or desired on some level. Controlling someone requires effort and energy, which adds another layer to this dynamic. As Goddess Viola has pointed out, male orgasms are what deplete and release the energy in a haphazard way instead of recirculating it. I would rather take that energy, as she said, enjoy your day and fully concentrate on serving. I wish to serve you as you wish to be served. I want to serve you. I want to serve you well, and I want to do it in a respectful and devoted way because that is what she deserves. It's a fun exploration, although a complex experiment. A deep desire to serve her well, and my desire for a release. Isn't that what surrender, submission, and service is all about? I've been noticing a change in my perception. High arousal levels had led to deeper connection with my body. I feel things so much deeper now. Some days I can just feel it emanating from the center of my heart. It feels like a warm sun just radiating through my body, giving me energy. It has shifted from being kind of weird because I didn't have control over something I've always had control over, to feeling normal and accepting it as the truth of my existence. This acceptance has grounded me and deepened my desire to be owned and to serve as she wishes and desires. One week, Goddess S didn't send me commands for what I was allowed to do or not to do that day. My first instinct was to edge, but that thought quickly faded as I realized it wasn't up for me to decide what I wanted to do. It's not what I want, it's what she wants. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but it created some internal conflict. The thought of she didn't say no would creep in, which was quickly followed by she didn't say I could. In those moments, it occurred to me that I had completely surrendered to her will. She fully owned this aspect of me. A few years ago, I learned a technique for sending energy. It starts at the point of energy, moving up through the spine, then up to my neck and to my head. I focus on where I want to send the energy, saying, "Thank you, Goddess. Thank you, Goddess, for your gift. I offer you my energy." I found it to be very powerful, and I have been told that they could actually feel the energy. I was also told that you have to be careful because this can deplete your energy. Men have been stealing energy from women for seemingly forever. Goddess Viola has made this point very clear. Thank you for your gift of allowing me to edge to what you own. Every day, I understand a little deeper what a gift she offers to me on so many levels. In these moments, I feel myself being drawn deeper and deeper to her. I feel her inside me, which makes my brain cry out in desire for her to penetrate deeper and deeper into my soul and into my mind. Some days the energy level was just off the chart. There was days, just a slight breeze I was afraid was going to push me over the edge. I thought maybe I might have a wet dream. But none of those things came true. I did make it the 108 days. And I actually went a couple extra days. I have to admit, that release was mind-bending. I've never felt anything so enjoyable or so pleasurable before. I have discovered new things about myself. It has been an interesting experiment. It has proven to me, beyond a doubt, that my will is strong, that I desire to serve her. It proved to me that my desire was real. If I could sacrifice this for her, then I truly wanted to serve her, and I knew this is where I belonged. If I would have gave in to my selfish pleasures, I'm not sure I would ever have made it this far. My desire to sacrifice, to give her pleasure, to give her control, brings me to my knees. There's no place else I would want to be. There is a saying I like, and the saying goes, "You don't know how far you can go until you've gone too far." The initial goal was to do 108 days. She didn't ask me to. I did it purely to please her and to prove to myself that I'm capable of doing this again for her. As I wrote in my journal, she started to notice this journey that I was on. And it pleased her to know that I suffered greatly for her. The frustration, the sexual arousal, the sexual energy was at times too much to bear. It felt I couldn't go on, I thought. But the ideal of failing my goddess always kept me on the straight. To be on the edge and wanting to fall over an orgasm was so consuming. But I always knew in the back of my head, there was always that voice that said, "You're doing this for Goddess. This is what she desires. This is what she wants. She is taking pleasure from my sacrifice to her. She took pleasure from my frustration. She took pleasure from seeing me suffer for her." I was proving myself to her, but I was also proving myself to me. Sometimes you wish, sometimes you fantasize, and then when it's really right in front of you, you realize that's not what you really want. But when you do go there, and you do sacrifice, and you do suffer, and you do something out of love and desire to serve her, you realize this is where you belong. This is what you want. It's hard to believe that I could ever get to the point where I'd be willing to sacrifice this for her. To be allowed to edge, but not finish, can be so frustrating. I would literally hit my head against the table. I was so frustrated. Sometimes I would slap my head out of frustration. Sometimes I would jump up and down out of frustration. But I never failed. The thought of failing her was worse than not being able to orgasm. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to please her. I wanted to be her good boy. During this journey, I have found day to day, even sometimes hour to hour, could vary so much. There were times where I didn't even feel like I had sexual drive. There was other times I thought my sexual drive would drive me nuts. There was times I even forgot that I had a penis. And there was other times that's all I could think about. Sometimes the energy levels were just off the chart. There was times when I could do 2 hours of solid exercise and finish that up with 3 hours of cleaning, and I still couldn't fall asleep at night. I'd still wake up. All this energy coursing through my body. Sometimes it wasn't just the physical, it was the mental aspect of it. My energy, my thoughts, even my body became hyper. There was times I swore I could almost feel her. I could sense her being in the room with me. I even noticed how many more times when she would show up in my dreams, standing above me, looking at me. And in those moments of sacrifice to her, I found myself being drawn closer to her. I could feel her pulsing through my body. There was times I swore she was in my head and in my heart. And to this day, being so close and being so close to being allowed to have a release, I almost catch myself, and I hate admitting this, but I almost don't want the release. I found the sexual energy, the arousal, just ready to go. Wow, it's so amazing. I've never felt anything like it. When I used to have an orgasm every day, I never felt that. Even when I was young, with so many hormones running through my body, so much sexual desire running through my body, I never felt that kind of sexual energy, that kind of desire. It felt so deep. Depth, which I have never, ever felt before. At the same time, all I think about is that day of release. Numerous times each day, I count the days. It's so funny, isn't it?
It feels so good, the control,